Hello guys, it's me, Big Dave, and today we're doing another Raid Shadow Legends video. And specifically, we're going over the new login champ, Loki the Deceiver, and there's a little bit more news they just dropped. We're going over that too. We'll just have a general chat about this and what Raid is doing this event. So yeah, we'll get started. So, okay, Loki the Deceiver, legendary support, Barbarians champ. We'll start with his A1, so Flames of Mischief, nice name. Attacks all enemies, 30% chance of increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn, kind of nice. Debuff extend, pretty good for clan boss, Hydra, all that kind of good stuff. Right, if the champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, jumps up to 50, 70 when both. So it's 50 on without Veil, but this guy will be under Veil when you do it because he's going to put Veil on himself initially every 4 turns. So, yeah. Yeah, interesting. There's a damage multiplier added to it by the looks of it. It's just going to hit by the looks of it because it's giving us 10% extra damage. So, maybe he can hit. We'll see. Right, A2. Deceiver's Gambit. 4 turn bookable down to a 3 turn. Selects a target. If the target is an enemy, has a 75% chance, 100% when booked, of placing block active skills debuff and block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If this champion using the skill is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, also applies a debuff spread. Interesting. Taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. Again, really good for Hydra. Right, if the target is an ally of this champion, heals them by 50% of this champion's max HP and places a Perfect Veil debuff on them for 2 turns. So you can heal as well. Interesting. So you either heal somebody on your side or you can attack. It's kind of weird. If the champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil debuff, applies a buff spread effect, taking a random buff from the target and placing it on all allies. Interesting if you could get protected and then spread it. That'd be kind of nice. Put it in protection maybe. Maybe? Yeah, interesting. So it goes up to 100% and it books down to a 3, which is pretty good, to be fair. Right, Bandit's Flash has a 75% chance of stealing all buffs. Again, sheep. From a target enemy and then 100% of the target's turn meter. This effect cannot be resisted if the champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil debuff. Interesting. Could you steal Stone Skin? Could you take Stone Skin? Or stealing buffs? So he's stealing. He's keeping them for himself, which is kind of nuts. Kind of like the idea. Pick on like a damage dealer, steal their buffs, or a support champ, steal their buffs, and then, yeah, kind of nice. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Right. Also places Perfect Veil on this champion for 1 turn. Oh, no, go on. My bad. If the target's turn meter was not stolen, so if they're under Stone Skin, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% instead. So kind of nice. So again, interesting to see how that would work in arena. In content, it's if you're using him in Hydra, the A3 will be a speed boost because you can't steal turn meter. And same for some bosses too. There's a few that you can't steal turn meter from. If the target's turn meter was not stolen, also places increased attack on all enemies or all allies for 2 turns. Interesting. Nice attack up. So yeah, and we'll get into his passive, which is what makes his kit work, I think. So the passive effect has a Perfect Veil buff on this champ for 2 turns at the start of each round. So obviously that's not bookable down, so it's going to be 4 turns. So once you place it, you're going to have 2 turns without it. Unless you put Master Hexer and you try and go for 3, but that's not going to be up all the time because of the fact that it's a passive skill. And you obviously can't reset passive skills. So also places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn when the HP drops below 50%. That's nice. So if you take him below 50, and then he can proc and you go under veil, stopping anyone from hitting him, which is nice. Right. Has a 15% chance to evade an enemy skill and all of its accompanying effects. Okay. So if this champion is under a veil or perfect veil, the chance increases to 30%. Kind of nice. The 30% evade every time. Be interesting to see how that works in an arena setting. It'll be decent for content, but again, it's random, so it's going to be RNG. It seems very RNG based. This champion does a little bit. I can see places where he could work. Arena, I don't know, maybe. Probably, I would think. I'm probably just reading it wrong. I'm probably just not seeing it. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Right. If the champion's HP is below 50% when targeted by an enemy skill, 100% chance to evade. That skill and all of its accompanying effects, the guaranteed evade will then go on cooldown. So, does the 30%, but the 30% chance and 15% chance, is that provisory on the cooldown of misstep, or is it constant? So it doesn't really make sense to me on that one. Because what would be the point? You'd be able to, you'd have a 30 to 50% chance to evade it. If someone comes in with a killing blow, because that's what that last thing effectively is. Like a Rotus or a Taurus comes in and tries to kill him, he survives. But if he's the only one left and he doesn't res, what is the point? It's kind of I don't know. We'll have to test it when we eventually get him in 2 weeks time, I think, because it's not going to for another week. So yeah, I don't know what to make of this guy. I like the buff strip, especially for content. Always helps, especially in Barbarians, which is, I would say, a little bit lacking for support champs, but you do have Tahanarak in there and a few others, but he looks decent. He looks usable, I would say. I'm just questioning how, if that 30, 50% or 30% is once only, or if it's constant. I'm going to guess it's once only, but the active effect is passive effect, active. So the passive effect should always be on. That would be my guess. I'll have to test it and have a look, but if it's a passive effect, then it shouldn't go on cooldown, but the active effect will. And that's why it's 4 turn. So it's very weirdly worded. I'll have to test that idea. If it is the case and it's the veil and the evade is 15% or 30%, yeah, he's going to be really good. You're going to be stood there and someone's going to come in and try and hit him, and he's just going to avoid it. And he won't even, you could then even contemplate going damage with him if you wanted to, if that's the case. If it is constant. My guess would be it is, because it's a passive, then the active would be 1 time, 4 turns. So, yeah. Decent enough champ for free. Wouldn't complain about it. So, yeah. If you haven't heard, there's going to be a new dungeon being released for this event, where you face off against Odin, Forefather. I'll go into more of a deep dive into that when it drops, which will be next week. I'll do an in-depth guide, probably do a video over the first bit of it. Looks kind of interesting, but I'll go more over that when it drops, rather than just speculate on what it could be. But he's going to be in there, so my guess is that I think it's 30 levels, I think. So, yeah, I'll do a video on it when it drops, which will be next week. So, yeah, if you liked the video, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm pushing towards 500 first. I'm almost there. A couple more ads now, 150 people, I think. So it does really help me out if you add me, guys. Genuinely. I'm trying to get more content out over like Sintranos, when new stuff like this drops, like new dungeons, that kind of thing. I've got a video coming tomorrow going over Soul Cross, because I've just got past S6 and S8, I think. Going, because they are quite tough, so I've gone over how I did it. Yeah, so hopefully see you guys in the next video. So please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's Big Dave. Out.